Zy-47 was a quiet, peaceful colony. Its people, the Zyphorians, were small blue-skinned aliens who believed in trade and science, not war. Their planet had no military, no weapons, only farms, research labs, and homes. But peace never lasts forever. One evening, dark ships appeared in the sky. Huge, black, and covered in scars, these ships did not belong to any friendly race. They belonged to the Ravagers, a brutal group of space pirates who lived for destruction. Without warning, the attack began. Explosions shook the ground as Ravager ships fired plasma cannons at the colony. Buildings crumbled into dust. Zyphorians ran in fear, their soft voices filled with terror. The air was filled with smoke and the sharp smell of burning metal. From the largest Ravager ship, a message boomed across the planet. This colony belongs to the Ravagers now. Surrender or die. The Zyphorians had no way to fight back. They had no soldiers, no weapons, only fear. Their leader, Governor Vela, knew that surrender meant slavery, but resisting meant death. There was only one option left. With shaking hands, Vela activated the emergency distress beacon. A message was sent into space. Please help us. We are under attack. We cannot defend ourselves. Anyone out there, please save us. For hours, there was no reply. The Zyphorians sat in their underground bunkers, hoping, praying. But deep down, they knew the truth. No one would come. The great alien empires, the ones with powerful armies, did not care about a small, weak colony like Zy-47. The Zyphorians had nothing valuable to offer. They were alone. Or so they thought. A small light blinked on the communication console. A response. Governor Vela rushed to the screen, heart pounding. The message was short, simple, and chilling. Help is coming. Hold on. The Zyphorians stared at the words, confused. Who had sent this? What kind of help? A fleet of warships. A team of soldiers. They got their answer 3 hours later. A single ship appeared in the sky. Not a fleet, just one small dark vessel. It moved fast, avoiding Ravager patrols, and landed outside the colony. Governor Vela and her advisors ran to the landing site, their hearts full of hope, but also doubt. How could one ship save them? The doors opened, and 4 figures stepped out. They were humans, but not just any humans. These were not diplomats, traders, or explorers. They walked with a certain confidence, a quiet, deadly energy. Their armor was scratched, their weapons well used. Their eyes were cold, calculating. The eyes of warriors. The tallest one, a man with a scar running down his face, looked around and smirked. "You called for help?" he asked, his voice calm. Governor Vela blinked in confusion. "Yes, but it's just you?" she asked, her voice shaking. The human warrior grinned. "That's all we need." The Zyphorians stood frozen, staring at the 4 humans in front of them. They had expected a powerful alien army, warships, thousands of soldiers, but instead only 4 humans had come. This is a mistake, right?" Governor Vela stammered. "We sent a distress call for military help. A full fleet." The human with the scar on his face smirked. "And you got us." Vela felt panic rise in her chest. The Ravagers had an army, hundreds of ruthless killers armed with deadly weapons. And these humans thought they could fight them alone. It was impossible. A Zyphorian advisor, an elderly man with trembling hands, spoke up. "You don't understand. The Ravagers, they are too many. They will kill us all." One of the humans, a tall woman with dark eyes and a long rifle slung over her shoulder, spoke in a calm voice. "No, they will try, and they will fail." Vela exchanged a nervous glance with her people. Who were these humans? Were they insane? The scared man took a step forward. "I'm Commander Dax. This is my team." He gestured to the others. "Reese, our sniper. Orion, our tech expert. And Ghost, our close combat specialist." The last human, the one called Ghost, had a mask covering his face. He didn't speak. He just stood there, completely still, like a statue made for killing. Vela swallowed. I don't understand. Why would only 4 of you come? Dax chuckled. Because 4 of us is enough. The Xiphorians didn't know how to respond to that. It was madness. Or maybe something else. We need to see the battlefield, Reese said. Show us where the Ravagers are attacking from. Vela hesitated. What choice did she have? If these humans were their only hope, she had to trust them. She led them to a small observation tower, hidden underground. From there, they could see the devastation above. The once beautiful colony was now a war zone. Smoke rose from burning buildings. Ravager patrols moved in groups, searching for survivors. Their leader, a monstrous alien named Garrick, stood near the ruins of the Xiphorian city center, barking orders. That's their leader, Vela whispered. Garrick the Bone Crusher. He has killed thousands across the galaxy. Dax studied the battlefield. Then he turned to his team. Reese, you see the warlord. Reese pulled out her sniper rifle, adjusted the scope, and nodded. 1 clean shot. I can take him out now. Vela gasped. Wait, you can't just shoot him. That will make them even angrier. Reese smirked. Dead men don't get angry. Dax shook his head. Not yet. We need them to be scared first. Orion, the tech expert, pulled out a small device. I can hack into their comms, send them fake orders, make them confused. Ghost finally spoke, his voice low and chilling. And I can take care of the patrols. 1 by 1. No noise. Vela felt a shiver run down her spine. These humans weren't just soldiers. They were something else. Something more dangerous. Dax turned to her. We don't fight like your people. We don't charge in like fools. We make them bleed before they even know we're here. Vela hesitated. And if your plan fails? Dax grinned. It won't. He tapped his communicator. All right, team. Let's remind these Ravagers why humans are feared across the stars. The night on Ziphor 7 was silent, but danger lurked in every shadow. The Ravagers moved like predators, their heavy boots crushing the soft ground as they searched for survivors. Their red eyes scanned the ruins, looking for anyone still alive. They thought they were in control. They were wrong. Hidden in the darkness, the humans watched. Unseen, unheard, waiting. Commander Dax pressed his communicator, everyone in position. Sniper ready, Reese whispered from her perch high above, her rifle aimed at the enemy. Hacking their comms now, Orion muttered, fingers dancing across his device. Ghost said nothing. He was already moving. Dax smirked. Let's begin. A group of Ravagers patrolled near the ruins of an old marketplace. They were laughing, talking about how easy it was to destroy the weak Xiphorians. One of them stopped. Did you hear that? Silence. Then, a flash of steel, a sharp gasp, a body dropping to the ground. Ghost had made his first kill. The other Ravagers turned, confused. Where did? Another shadow moved. Another enemy fell. Panic spread through the group. We're under attack, one of them shouted. But there was no gunfire, no explosions, just death in the dark. From her position, Reese smirked. They're scared. Good, Dax replied. Make them more scared. Reese pulled the trigger. A Ravager standing near their leader, Garrick, collapsed, a hole between his eyes. Garrick turned, snarling. Where did that come from? Find them. Another shot. Another Ravager dead. Garrick roared in frustration. Who is doing this? His men scrambled for cover, but there was nowhere to hide. Orion grinned as he tapped into the Ravager's communication system. Attention all units, he said in a deep, robotic voice, mimicking Garrick. Fall back to the ships immediately. The Ravagers hesitated. Did you hear that? One of them said. Garrick said to retreat. Another frowned. That wasn't his voice, was it? Confusion spread like wildfire. Some Ravagers turned to leave. Others shouted that it was a trick. And in that moment of chaos, Dax struck. He charged forward, his plasma pistol firing. 2 Ravagers fell before they could react. Humans. One of them screamed. "HFY." Dax grinned. Finally figured it out. He rolled to the side, dodging enemy fire, and shot another Ravager in the chest. Ghost appeared beside him, slicing through an enemy with a single, swift motion. Blood sprayed across the dirt. Reese kept firing from above. Orion kept the Ravagers confused. The enemy was breaking. Fear was taking over. And the humans, they were just getting started. From a distance, Governor Vela and her people watched in shock. The humans weren't just winning. They were hunting. Vela's hands trembled. "They're not like us," she whispered. "They don't fight for survival. They fight to dominate." One of her advisors shook his head. "I thought they would die in minutes. But look at them." They watched as Ghost disappeared into the shadows again, as Reese shot another Ravager mid-run, as Dax laughed while dodging enemy fire. The Xiphorians had called for help. They had expected soldiers. Instead, they had summoned monsters. The battlefield was changing. The Ravagers had come to Zephyr 7 expecting an easy victory. They thought the Xiphorians were weak, helpless prey. But now, they were the ones being hunted. Commander Dax moved like a shadow, weaving through the ruins, his plasma pistol firing with deadly accuracy. 1 shot, 1 kill. Ghost was even deadlier. He struck from the darkness, his blade slicing through armor like paper. No sound, no mercy. Above them, Reese lay perfectly still, hidden on a broken rooftop. Every time a Ravager tried to regroup, she pulled the trigger. 1 shot, 1 corpse. Orion, the tech expert, was nowhere near the fight, but his presence was everywhere. His hacked signals confused the enemy, sending them in the wrong direction, making them shoot at shadows. The Ravagers didn't know what was happening. They only knew one thing. They were dying. Garak, the Ravager leader, slammed his fist into a wall, furious. "Who are these demons?" he roared. A terrified soldier in front of him stammered. "Humans, sir. Just 4 of them." "You mean to tell me that 4 humans are destroying my entire army?" Garak's voice was filled with rage. The soldier gulped. "They're not normal, sir. They move too fast. They kill without warning." "There?" He hesitated, then whispered. "Monsters." Garak's red eyes burned with anger. "Enough. I want them dead. Now." He grabbed the soldier by the throat and crushed it with 1 hand. The other Ravagers flinched but obeyed. They formed tighter squads, moving cautiously, guns aimed in every direction. But no matter what they did, they kept dying. Dax crouched behind a broken wall, watching the enemy struggle. He tapped his communicator. "Ghost, status. 3 down." Ghost's voice was barely a whisper. "They didn't see me." "Reese?" A soft chuckle came through the comm. "They're panicking. Easy shots. Orion, just hack their weapons. Half of their rifles won't fire." Orion's laughter echoed through the line. "They're trying to shoot, but nothing happens. It's hilarious." Dax grinned. "Good. Time to finish this." He stepped out into the open, facing a group of Ravagers head-on. They spotted him instantly. "Human, kill him." They pulled their triggers. Nothing happened. Orion's hack had worked. Dax smirked. "Too bad." Before they could react, he opened fire. Plasma bolts ripped through them. Within seconds, they were all on the ground, motionless. It wasn't a battle anymore. It was a slaughter. Governor Vela and the Xiphorians watched in shock. They had called for help, expecting soldiers to protect them. Instead, they had summoned killers. "This is not war," one of the Xiphorian advisors whispered. "This is something else." Vela's voice was barely audible. "This is what humans do." Garak watched his men fall one by one. He had fought many battles, conquered many worlds, but he had never seen anything like this. He clenched his fists. Enough. He turned to his warship and activated his communicator. Prepare the bombardment. If we can't take this planet, we'll burn it to ash. A Ravager soldier gasped. But sir, our own men are still. Garak shot him without hesitation. They are already dead. The Ravager's warship engines roared as they prepared to destroy the entire colony. Dax looked up at the sky and cursed. They're gonna wipe everything out. Reese reloaded her rifle. Then we better stop them. Ghost cracked his knuckles. Time to finish this. The deadliest humans were not done yet. The air rumbled as the massive Ravager warship prepared its bombardment. Its engines glowed bright, rising slowly above the colony ruins. From its underbelly, massive plasma cannons locked into position, aiming at the ground. One shot would turn Zy-47 into fire and dust. Commander Dax clenched his jaw. We need to stop that ship. Now, Reese adjusted her sniper rifle. Too far for a clean shot. Orion cursed. Their shields are up. I can't hack them. Ghost said nothing. He was already moving. On the warship's bridge, Garak grinned as he watched his soldiers panic below. Pathetic humans, he growled. You fought well, but now you burn. He raised his clawed hand. Fire. The ship's cannons powered up, glowing with deadly energy. Then, boom. A massive explosion rocked the warship. Alarms blared. Screens flickered. Garak turned in fury. What way is TA-8? A Ravager officer checked the monitors, his hands shaking. Sir, someone planted explosives in the engine bay. Garak's eyes widened. Who? Ghost sprinted through the warship's interior, dodging enemy fire. He had infiltrated the ship minutes ago, slipping past guards unseen. Now he was heading for the main reactor. 2 Ravagers spotted him. Dear. Ghost didn't slow down. He threw a knife straight into the first Ravager's throat. The second tried to fire, but Ghost was too fast. He grabbed the alien's arm, twisted, and snapped it. The Ravager collapsed, screaming. Ghost didn't even look back. Outside, Dax watched as smoke rose from the warship. He grinned. Ghost did it. Reese smirked. That ship won't last long. Orion checked his scanner. Wait, shields are dropping. I can hack their systems now. Dax's eyes lit up. Then let's take it down. On the bridge, Garak slammed his fist on the controls. Get those shields back up. Before his crew could react, the ship's turrets suddenly turned on their own. Garak's eyes widened. No. The ship's own weapons opened fire on itself. Explosions ripped through the hull. Fire spread like a hungry beast. Garak's rage turned to panic. Abandon ship. Ghost reached the escape pods, breathing hard. He activated his communicator. Ship is done. I'm coming out. Dax chuckled. Took you long enough. Ghost ignored him and launched his escape pod. From the ground, Vela and the Zephyrians watched in awe as the mighty Ravager warship, the same one that had once terrorized their people, fell from the sky in flames. The burning wreckage crashed into the mountains, shaking the earth with its final explosion. Silence followed. Then, the Zephyrians cheered. The war was over. Dax dusted himself off as Ghost's escape pod landed. The masked warrior stepped out without a word. Reese whistled. Not bad. Orion stretched. I need a drink. Vela approached, her hand still trembling. You saved us. Dax gave a small grin. That's what we do. Vela looked at them. 4 humans standing against an entire army. She had never seen anything like it. You're not soldiers, she whispered. You're something else. Dax's smirk widened. We're the deadliest thing in the galaxy. And with that, the humans turned, walking away from the battlefield, leaving only fire and legend behind. The battlefield was quiet now, Smoke still rose from the burning wreckage of the Ravager warship. The Xiphorian people stood in stunned silence, staring at the destruction. Just hours ago, they had been on the brink of extinction. Now, they were free. And it was because of the humans. Dax wiped dirt from his face and holstered his weapon. Well, that was fun. Reese chuckled, slinging her sniper rifle over her shoulder. If you call almost dying fun, sure. Orion smirked, tapping on his wrist device. I recorded everything. This is going to be legendary. Ghost said nothing. He was already checking the bodies, making sure no Ravagers were still alive. Governor Vela stepped forward, her eyes full of emotions. You saved us, she said. We would all be dead if not for you. Dax gave a small nod. That's what we do. One of the Xiphorian elders approached, his voice trembling. We thought you were just soldiers. But you fight like demons. Reese smirked. That's a new one. But Vela wasn't smiling. I saw what you did out there. You didn't just defeat the Ravagers. You hunted them. You destroyed them. She swallowed. Are all humans like this? Dax's expression darkened slightly. Only the Deadliest. As the Xiphorians celebrated, the humans regrouped near their ship. We should leave soon, Orion said, before someone else comes looking for trouble. Ghost nodded. The Ravagers have allies. They won't like what we did here. Dax sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. Yeah, we made a lot of noise. Reese stretched. So what? Let them come. Dax smirked. That's the spirit. But deep down, he knew this wasn't over. Not yet. That night, as the Xiphorians celebrated their freedom, Dax stood alone, watching the sky. Ghost appeared beside him, silent as ever. Dax didn't turn. Something on your mind? Ghost stared at the distant stars. They'll come back. Dax nodded. Yeah, I know. The Ravagers weren't the type to forget. They had won today. But tomorrow, that was another fight waiting to happen. And the deadliest humans in the galaxy would be ready. The night was calm, but Dax couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. The battle was over, the Ravagers were defeated, and the Xiphorians were safe. So why did it feel like this wasn't finished? Ghost stood nearby, sharpening his blade. He didn't talk much, but Dax knew he felt it too. Orion was working on his wrist device, scanning the area. His eyes narrowed. Guys. Dax turned. What? Orion pointed at the screen. We have a problem. High above Xiphor 7, another warship had arrived. It was bigger than the last one. Darker. Deadlier. And it wasn't alone. Smaller attack ships broke off from the main cruiser, heading straight for the planet. Their engines burned like angry red eyes in the night sky. Inside the lead ship, a tall, armored figure watched the surface below. His name was Commander Voker, and he was not happy. The last warship had sent out a distress call before crashing. Voker had received it. He had seen the reports. A small team of humans had wiped out an entire Ravager force. He grinned, his sharp teeth glinting. Interesting. He turned to his crew. Find them. I want to see these humans for myself. The attack ships roared toward the surface. The hunt had begun. Boom! An explosion rocked the colony. The celebration ended in an instant. Xiphorians screamed and ran as fire lit up the sky. Dax and his team were already moving. We need to get to the ship. Now. Dax barked. Reese fired her sniper rifle, dropping an enemy soldier from a distance. Too many of them. We won't make it. Orion checked his scanner. They're not attacking the colony. They're looking for us. Dax's eyes narrowed. Then let's give them a fight. The first wave of enemy troops landed in the ruins. They were faster and stronger than the last Ravagers, but they weren't fast enough. Ghost struck first. He dropped from the shadows, his blade flashing. One enemy's throat was cut before he even knew what hit him. Reese fired, taking down two more. Orion hacked into their comms, sending out false signals. They don't know where we are. Let's keep it that way. Dax grabbed a fallen enemy's weapon, a high-powered plasma rifle. Time to show them what happens when you hunt humans. Commander Vokar watched the battle unfold on his screen. His forces were strong, but the humans were cutting through them like ghosts in the night. He smiled. Good. This will be fun. He turned to his pilot. Take me down. I want to face them myself. The ship descended. The real battle was about to begin. The battlefield was chaos. Smoke, fire, and screams filled the air as the second wave of Ravager forces spread through the colony ruins. Dax and his team moved like shadows, striking fast and disappearing before the enemy could react. Ghost sliced through two enemies with his blade. Silent, deadly, unseen. Reese picked off targets from a distance, her sniper rifle whispering death. Orion jammed enemy communications, sending them false orders. And Dax, he was right in the middle of the fight, plasma rifle burning hot in his hands. One shot, one kill, no hesitation. But then, a new ship landed in the center of the battlefield. The hatch opened, and Commander Vokar stepped out. Vokar was different from the other Ravagers. He was taller, stronger, and covered in heavy armor. His red eyes scanned the battlefield, locking onto the humans. He smiled. So, you're the ones causing all this trouble. Dax aimed his rifle. And you're the next dead Ravager. Vokar laughed. You think you scare me, human. Dax smirked. No, I think I kill you. He fired. Vokar moved too fast. Before the plasma bolt could hit, Vokar dodged and closed the distance in seconds. Dax barely had time to react before a massive fist slammed into his chest, throwing him across the battlefield. Reese's eyes widened. Dax. She aimed at Vokar's head and fired. Crack. The shot hit, but Vokar's armor absorbed it. He turned to her, grinning. Snipers, always so annoying. Then he vanished. Reese barely had time to blink before he appeared behind her. She spun, but his fist crashed into her stomach. She flew backward, smashing into a broken wall. Ghost moved in, fast as lightning. His blade slashed toward Vokar's throat. Vokar blocked it with his bare hand. For the first time, Ghost hesitated. Vokar grabbed him by the neck and lifted him off the ground. You fight well, Vokar said, but you're still just humans. He threw Ghost like a ragdoll. Orion's fingers flew across his wrist device. He sent a hacking command to Vokar's armor. Access is denied. Orion paled. Guys? He's got tech blockers. I can't hack him. Vokar turned toward him. Orion gulped. Oh, hell. Vokar charge. Orion dove out of the way just in time, rolling across the ground. Vokar ripped through a metal wall like paper. Dax pushed himself up, coughing. His body ached. Vokar was stronger, faster, tougher. This was not a normal Ravager. Dax wiped blood from his lip and grinned. Okay, this might be a problem. Vokar cracked his knuckles. Let's see how long you last. The real fight had just begun. Dax took a deep breath, wiping blood from his mouth. His ribs ached, and his vision blurred for a moment. Vokar was too strong. Reese groaned, pulling herself up from the rubble. That guy hits like a damn warship. Ghost stood, silent as always, gripping his blade tighter. He wasn't done yet. Orion scrambled behind cover, typing furiously on his wrist device. I need time to figure something out. Vokar stood in the middle of the battlefield, completely unarmed. He cracked his knuckles, looking amused. Is this all the humans have? Dax's grip tightened on his rifle. Not even close. Vokar charge. Ghost was the first to react. He vanished into the shadows and struck from behind. His blade aimed for the gap between Vokar's armor plates. But Vokar expected it. His hand shot back faster than Ghost could react, grabbing his wrist in midair. With a single brutal motion, he flung Ghost into the ground. Cracks Heike. The impact shook the battlefield. Ghost didn't get up. Reese took her shot. Crack! The bullet hit Voker's eye. For a second, everything went silent. Then Voker laughed. The bullet had barely scratched his thick skin. He turned toward Reese. And then he moved. Before she could reload, Voker was already in front of her. His fist slammed into her chest, sending her flying. She crashed into a broken vehicle and didn't move. Dax cursed. This was bad. Orion's fingers flew over his wrist device. Come on. Come on. He needed to break through Voker's defenses. There had to be a weakness. Voker spotted him. Enough of this. He rushed toward Orion. Dax stepped in his path. He fired his rifle at full power, burning through his ammo in seconds. Bam, 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 bam. Each shot hit Voker's chest. Smoke filled the air. For a moment, there was hope. Then the smoke cleared. Voker stood there, smiling. Pathetic. His fist slammed into Dax's stomach. Dax felt his ribs crack. He fell to the ground, gasping for air. Voker stood over him, victorious. Humans are weak. Dax grinned. Then why are we still alive? Before Voker could react, Orion finished his hack. VEEP. Voker's armor froze. His entire body locked up. His smile disappeared. What? Orion smirked. Gotcha. Voker's anti-hacking system was tough, but nothing was unbreakable. Dax forced himself up. His body screamed in pain. He had one shot. He pulled out a grenade and shoved it into Voker's armor. Voker's eyes widened. Boom. The explosion tore through his body. Flames and metal flew everywhere. When the smoke cleared, Voker was gone. Dax collapsed, breathing hard. Reese groaned. That sucked. Ghost coughed, pushing himself up. We won. Orion grinned, holding up his wrist device. Told you I'd figure it out. Dax chuckled. Yeah, let's never do that again. The deadliest humans had won, but just barely. The end.